recording now.
Oh, look, I'm getting a notification. Eddie Espino has started recording. And my phone just said this call now is being recorded. So maybe this is the way to go. So yeah, I guess we are starting. This is Hangout number 8, according to TipFox. So if it's off, it's his fault. So welcome, whoever's listening to these videos. I know that is it a 4 week or 4 key? I always say it wrong. He's always leaving us comments and stuff. He's always watching the stuff. He's staying on top of what we are doing. He's a big fan of your work, Tibbs. Like, he was giving you a lot of props for everything that you've been doing on 3Speak. The other day, as a matter of fact, the other day he said to somebody that he believes that 3Speak now is better than YouTube, and that's like a lot due to you. So
No.
In some ways, I
in
think.
some ways, I mean, it's crazy to say, but I mean, I didn't say it. He said it. So, anyways, if this is the first video that you see of Mantequilla Soft, this is a hangout we try to do every week, and the idea of this hangout is to have full transparency of what it is that we are doing in the group, what it is that we are building on Hive. And this is not to say there's not a possibility that we would bring up something that is not Hive related. It's just unlikely, you know. But we could, some of us could participate of other projects, and I'm just saying that because Eddie the other day showed me another project, something that the guys from Cardano are doing, something called Midnight, and it's a very interesting proposition, and it could be something that I think could be integrated into Hive as well. There could be some sort of bridge happening there, but that's not for this conversation. But I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form is good to have these walls built between projects. So I think cross-pollination is a good thing. That's maybe the main reason that VSC, also known as Magi, or Magi, also known as VSC, whatever you call it, is possibly so important for our beloved blockchain, because it's an attempt to bring down those walls. And on that front, Tibbs has been doing quite a bit of work. I'm sure he'll talk about that stuff when it's his turn to speak. We do have Kessel joining us today. I think I remember you saying, Tibbs, that you won't be able to join next week or the week after. You got something going on.
Both. Yeah.
Is it related
Birthday.
to you're traveling or no?
It's not related to the event. It's first is my girlfriend's birthday next week, and the week after this I will go on holiday in the Netherlands with a camper van. Yeah,
Like
first holiday
spring
this-
break, or do you
Yeah.
more or less? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
called
Easter.
differently.
Easter holiday kind of.
Easter holiday, yeah.
Yeah.
We call that here Semana Santa, which is Easter holiday. Here in Latin America, it's Semana Santa with Holy Week. I don't know how.
Holy Week,
What is it?
Yeah. It's Jesus.
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Where I live now, we also have it, but I think people still work. Maybe the Friday they don't, but the rest of the week I want to say everybody just it's normal. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's awesome. I mean, and after that, when is the event in Spain happening? Is that
From the 30th of April to the 3rd of May, so it will be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so in the last April week, so to say. It's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks.
7 weeks. Oh.
Okay.
I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think at some point in time you were worried about not having enough to talk about, and now I think you have too much to talk about. You have to pick. Yeah, because you can't really sit in front of an audience for 3 hours. They get bored, so you have to condense it. 40 minutes tops. I mean, I've been told this. It's not that I'm an expert. I've been told, and try to just give them the meat and the potatoes. Otherwise, they just tune out. It's like
Yeah, we have many speakers. So we have some people from World Mapping. I will talk about 3Speak, about Magi. Then we have Living UK Taiwan, who is talking about community building. Paola Map 3 about writing posts. So it's a broad space, not only about the depths and what is new or whatever. So it's more soft skill like. So I will show people the editor. I will show them how easy it is to interact with people on Shorts, and I will not go into detail what 3Speak is and how cool the decentralization is and all that stuff, because mainstream people, we hope that mainstream people come there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, there's a theory in music that I think it applies very much to software as well. Uh, yeah, I think you guys know I'm a musician, and musicians, when you specialize a lot, when you've been playing for a long time, you get really, I don't know what you would call it, but it's almost like you start to be seduced by the idea of elitist mentality. So then you sort of like, oh, I don't want to do normal. What is that chord? That's a normal chord. I don't want to do that chord. And you start doing like odd timings, odd chords, odd harmonies, and all that stuff because you want to surprise yourself. You want to do something that nobody has done before, which is honestly mathematically impossible. But that's another point. But then you go down that path so bad, then you stop making music that regular humans consume, and then so
And
you move into
people will only listen to reggaeton and things like that.
yeah. I
The
mean,
simple
not
music, I mean.
Yeah.
that's probably never going to be my audience, right? But the point is that you get so crazy with all these chords and stuff that then you stop making music for people and you make music for musicians like you, and your niche becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Mhm,
And it's not ideal for many, many reasons. But the main one is if you ever want to live off music, you probably don't want to do that. I think
mhm,
apps there's like a parallel path, because if you make an app that is very niche, meaning, oh no, in order for you to use this path, you got to be what we call a power user. Like, oh, you got to be comfortable in terminal, you got to be comfortable using CLI tools, you got to. I mean, of course, you can find an audience for it. It is obvious. I mean, you are if you use it, that means that there's an audience. But the more specialized it is, the smaller your audience, and thus, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot. Now, that said, it doesn't mean that things cannot be complex. I think Three Speak as a project is very, very complex. But the point, just like you can do with music, you can be really complex on the back end on how things work. Very easy to use on the front end. So like everything intuitive. It might be doing crazy stuff. Oh, this whole thing is decentralized. There's like not a single point of failure. Everything's, there's like three or four
Mm.
fallbacks to every single step. Oh, beautiful. But from the perspective of the user, I just click on this thing, and
Yeah.
and I think
mhm,
that's kind of what we're achieving. And I think that's why I love so much what the products that we're putting out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
mhm.
I'm really proud of this group. Well, let's get started then, Eddie. As always, I don't know why, but it's been now the protocol. You
Excuse me.
start off.
I'm just going to get my notebook. I will listen to
Okay,
you, Eddie. I'm
okay,
not
Yeah,
okay.
bored.
No, okay.
go for
Okay,
it, Eddie.
so this week was a little bit uh, more calm for me. I didn't do because I was busy with other stuff. But something that I did that I want to talk about is that I have this cool little app called bene.aliento.blog, which calculates the amount of beneficiary rewards earned by a specific account on the last 7 days, in the last 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. And that's something that I did so the encoders can check how much they can have an easy way to check how much beneficiaries rewards that they're getting or any account in general. But I added something else that is the voting, how much, which I think is still a little bit off. I think I need to tweak it, but how many votes has an account given to other users and how many votes they have received from several accounts. So if you put add Mino, you can see how to which accounts Mino has voted to in which percentage, and there's a little pie chart that can be also improved. And how many accounts on another tab? How many accounts has Mino voted, received votes from? So that's something that I did yesterday. It's something that I tried to build it like in a standalone app like a few weeks ago, but it was like starting from zero. So I say, well, let's use the same structure, the same tables, and the same APIs that we were already using, and just let's create on the same app, on the beneficiaries app, let's create this function that I know we have it on, for example, hivetasks.com, but it doesn't always work for me, or I have to change the Hive API. And so
You
I
mean the
try
RPC?
to
The RPC
the
node is
RPC.
down sometimes.
Uh, uh, the default ones. So you have to go to the settings and change them, and
Mm.
sometimes you have to adjust that. So this way, anyone can check it, and it's a cool way to have like more transparency to so you can make go down the gossip road and check which accounts are voting who and which accounts are
You know,
receiving
I
votes
have
from.
yeah, I have something to tell you on this front that I just remembered this morning because I
Hmm.
a long time ago, I'm gonna talk about maybe 2 years ago now. I
Hmm.
came up with like some math. You know, I
Hmm.
know that's like a nerdy thing to say, but I came up with some math to assess the quality of a curator, so to speak.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, and so, meaning, you know, because if a curator, if somebody's voting for one specific account or just two or three accounts, then you would say that's
Hmm.
not really um, a curator. It could be somebody who's really, and I hate to say it because I like this is like fighting words, but it's somebody who's circle jerking or possibly voting on himself through, sock puppet
Through
account.
all, through all the
Yeah,
accounts. Yeah.
yeah. So it's something that it's frowned upon in the community. But there's also an argument of how economically damaging such a thing is, because you're basically
Hmm.
centralizing power, you're not growing the network effect, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a conversation to be had on that front. So I have like this white paper, so to speak. I'm going to give it to you of
Hmm.
this. I think I was calling it curator uh, qualifications or something like that. I had a better name than that, but it's like 1 out of 5. A 5-star curator would be one that distributes the votes everywhere. But there's also things to take into account. If it's a curation account specifically, then
Hmm.
obviously it should be distributing big time. But if it's something like, let's say, Posh,
Hmm.
then arguably you have to take that also. And there's different weights for how you vote. Uh, the details are escaping me. I thought of this for a few days until I came up with it, and then I presented it to at that time to Spirit Search because I wanted to do a little app for it. And Spirit Search, oh, this is a great idea. Let me like I'm gonna integrate it. And it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do it because Spirit Search is gonna do it, and he has the team, and at that time I wasn't doing what I'm doing now. I was barely playing with ChatGPT and stuff, and kind of learning again
Hmm.
how to interact with the Hive blockchain, and doing a little bit of what they call Python scripts, as I've always played with. But now I think you could easily integrate it to your app, and that way. And so
Okay.
I mean, it would be very cool. Like you go, okay, look at the votes, and then look at your curator score, and then have like.
Okay.
I think it will be
Hmm.
kind of cool. So I'll give you that. Remind me. It's on. I have it on
Okay.
HackMD somewhere, and so you can integrate. And it's like I
Yeah.
said, all the math is there, so you can feed it to your AI, and they
Hmm.
can tell you more or less implementation. I'm sure it'll be like, oh, let's make a utility, and it does this. By the way, how are you pulling that information? Are you using half SQL, or are you hitting the
No,
API?
the APIs. The the normal APIs. I don't remember exactly which one because it was like trial and error, but yeah, hitting the APIs directly, like, but not like I gave half SQL, the half SQL,
Mhm.
and from there it's getting the data. Hmm.
You know that Blocktrade said, and this is I know because I listened to the interview again yesterday. I was looking for something. I think I asked you Eddie
Hmm.
about it, but
Yeah.
uh, thank you, love. Uh, that ideally, he wants all apps to move
Hmm.
to HAP. So I
Hmm.
don't know if let's call it legacy API calls are going to be deprecated. I would assume that if eventually they would be,
Hmm.
but uh, what he really wants, and this is a performance issue. It's like uh, there's a type of blocking of transaction that happens when you're hitting the legacy APIs for doing some fetches and also
Hmm.
doing some writings, and there's like a some sort of bottleneck there. I don't remember
Hmm.
the details of the moment he explained it, but obviously he knows 10 times more than I do about the subject. And half SQL fixes it. So ideally he would want to be everything that is information displaying to be moved to
Hmm.
half,
Okay.
and then just do writing, I guess, with legacy. That would be the first step, and then eventually everything half.
Okay.
So all half
Yeah,
half.
that was when I started doing this kind of app. That was like my fear. Am I like forcing these APIs with this type of calls? Am I maybe because they are public APIs? Am I maybe mm, like not damaging, but maybe make them work more than they should? So I think that having that type of documentation or maybe having that skill on cloud that you can only plug to it, and people that don't know all of these things about Hive, they can easily fetch that type of data from there. I think it will be ideal for Hive
I think
development. And mhm,
if you want to be a hero, Eddie, spending a good week working on making a cloud skill Hive expert, that would be
mhm,
amazing. And
yeah,
honestly, it would just be uh, it would just be time consuming because you would have to maybe go through a lot of our repos and be like, oh, this is how we handle this, because we discovered how to do things the most
mhm,
optimal way by
yeah,
trial and error. Because the
mhm,
documentation Hive, even though it's not bad, by comparison to other blockchains, I think it's great. Because I don't know if you guys ever looked at other it's horrible. But there's a lot of stuff that you only figure out if you try to do it, and they're like, okay, that's not how.
mhm,
Like voting calculation, for example, the information the docs is off.
mhm,
I was playing with it yesterday, and I finally got it to work. But the docs, whatever it says, it's not correct. So if you wanted to like be a superhero for everybody who's developing on Hive, if you were to make that a skill MD, for a Hive specialist for Claude and share that in Mantequilla
mhm.
repos for people that want to develop, that would be amazing.
Okay,
So that,
yeah.
yeah, that'd be very, very helpful.
I I'm not sure if Enrique has already done that because it's
Oh, he might have. Yeah,
he
another
might.
thing.
I
He
want to
might have.
talk with him. He might have, because I know he was doing that for wax, but we have wax, we have half, and we
Hmm.
have like different ways to do this. So there are different ways maybe to get to the same result, but there's always a better way or a better road that can save us a lot of headache. But now what AI can do, I remember I don't remember in which app exactly. I was asking, hey, go through this route and but also go to this one, and the AI was like making
Judgment
a
call.
change. Mhm. It was like making tests, and it found like, okay, with this route I can get this information, with this other route I cannot get it, so let's go with that one. That's part of the experience. And welcome, I think
Queso is
uh,
joining.
I think he joined, but I think I did. I hope I didn't reject him. I think maybe he got disconnected. He's connecting. Okay. I didn't. I
There
admit
you
it. Mhm.
go.
So, and another thing, that well, this was with Tifox. I gave him some feedback about the new curation panel that we're doing, like administrative for to speak filtering of videos. And soon next week we're gonna change how the curation is done, and we're gonna plug the bot and the bot and
You're
a
gonna
bot
kill the
for
bot, right?
curation.
No more
Uh,
bots.
we that's that. The idea is to not to change how the curation is done,
Mm.
because it right now it's based on views and comments. So we're gonna change that with m- a little bit more manual curation, but we'll have uh, a bigger a bigger team, not just me. Hmm.
I mean, I think on this one, if I don't think anybody's going to push back on it. I think we should move away from automatic curation altogether,
Hmm.
because I maybe eventually AI can pull it off, but even then, I mean, we're supposed to be a community, you know. So
Mhm.
I don't want to be friends with your bot. So it makes more sense that we end up recruiting curators, people that we can trust, and give them the tools, and just like you and Tib have been working on this little tools, so that
Mhm.
they can, the community can leverage the high power that we manage to motivate people to make content. The best content floats to
Mhm.
the top. But because as you said before, they rigged it. They figured out, oh, if it's views thing, so they're just hitting refresh, refresh, refresh to trigger the bot, and
Mhm.
that kind of defeats the purpose.
Or
And I'm not
they
trying to.
comment each other on circles, and maybe they don't even
Yeah,
watch the
yeah,
video.
So
Mhm.
it sadly, and this is not just on crypto on Hive. It's just in human behavior is it's all about creating the correct system of incentives. That's why at the
Mhm.
same time it's simple, but it's difficult
Mhm.
because if you make it very restrictive, then people would give up. If you make it too loose, then just people just game it and then cheat. So,
Mhm.
but they, I know that DIY Hub, which is Tifok's pet project for years now. I don't know. You've had it for what, 5, 6 years since the Steam days, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Tib?
yeah. And we
Yeah.
rebranded when we moved from Steam to Hive then.
Yeah.
So for ages. Yeah.
Ages. Yeah.
Okay.
So, he has a curator that he brought over, and then I think Samostakli was going to help, but I think we can add more people. There's put a few names out there of people that I think are good people, and they demonstrate to be very supportive. There's this girl from Venezuela called Cosita.
Mhm.
She's always onboarding her students, supporting people. I think she's probably a good person. She's also on the Discord server, so she could be somebody you could approach and
Okay.
to help us with that. And I'm sure she would do it, to be honest, because
Yeah, I was thinking some time ago that now that Hive has this multi-sig thing, maybe there could be like a curation panel, especially for creators. And if I don't know, 3 or 5 people like the same video, and they maybe rate it from 1 to 5 or 1 to 100, maybe, then depending on that type of rating, the a bot or other thing can vote. But maybe that is more complex. We can
yeah, it seems
definitely
like a lot of work
check it.
for not a big win.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. It's
I
also not a lot of work for us, for the
Mhm.
coders. It's also a lot of work for the curators
yeah,
because
that's
Yeah.
then
really
you
what I
will
meant.
really need to watch every single video.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's like I have a job now. My job is I want to
and
have
I
to watch
get three
400
cents
videos.
per month.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
no,
what we do need, and I think we are close to that, is just the community can report if a video is spam or if a video has
Yeah.
nudity or if a video has something else.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Do we have that already? Do we integrate
No,
that reporting?
no, it's
Oh,
in the back end,
It's in
but
the
it's
back
not
end,
finished yet.
but we need to add it to the front end, I think. Mhm.
and
Yeah,
how are we gonna get the messages? By the way, do we have a webhook or something that is going to be sent to Discord? How do we get?
we need to decide. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think it would be good if we have a group or a channel where we just get notified by the bot.
Yeah,
The
Mhm.
in
simplest
order
way.
to get
Like you have it on Snappy. Man.
yeah, exactly. In order to get Snappy approved, I had to have that system. So what I
I
did was
know.
it was a path of least resistance. I created a webhook. I have a channel on Discord server that when you report, it shows there. And then, of course, in the admin panel that I have for Snappy, all the reports show. So, like, I can insta
Mhm.
ban somebody. I know that's horrible, but obviously, I'm not really banning. You don't get banned. You cannot ban people
Mhm.
from blockchain. What it does is just hides the content. And I have to do this because I want to be compliant with the store. If somebody starts sharing illegal stuff, you want to make sure it doesn't show in your
Sure.
app, so
Mhm.
they just take it down. So
Yeah.
uh, so that's kind of why I did it. And honestly, that implementation is so easy. Like I don't think I would have to even show you Tibbs any code. I think I was surprised how easy it is to integrate a webhook of Discord. So we
Mhm.
could do that. Obviously, that means that if we're gonna have uh, maybe it could be that we could have a bot on Discord too that would when you put a reaction to that report, like an emoji saying, for example, Mark not suitable for work, automatically it would update our MongoDB
Yeah.
to. That would be
Mhm.
ideal, so that you don't have to go to another panel. I think, if anything, my implementation is not great because I have to go to another website, log in, and blah blah blah. So if we do it right there in Discord, that would be
Yeah, the thing
amazing.
is, there are a lot of more things you need to do. Maybe so maybe it's only the video that is reported, and only the video is bad.
Mhm.
You don't want to ban the whole user, so you
Mhm.
need to have two different emojis.
Yeah.
Then could be that you only want to unlist the video, and you know there are many things. I think the admin way is kind of the easiest way for us, and we already have a bot, so our bot is
Mhm.
the curation itself is working with a bot.
All right,
You
all
have
right.
just a channel, you paste in a link, the bot is checking the link and then gives you a percentage rating you can click. Then you have to select a category for your curation because we want to categorize the curations in the backend.
Mhm.
And then you are also forced to leave a comment as a curator.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. And at least 50,
And the
50 characters, right? The comment
minimum,
has
yeah,
to be
minimum.
minimum
Yeah.
of.
You can also
Mhm.
change this, but it's for DIY Hub. It's a
No, fifty is
good
more than
number.
reasonable. 50 is a sentence.
Yeah, it's just a long sentence. Yeah, not a
Yeah,
good video is too short, but
yeah. I mean, honestly, this is also we can discuss about this, but I think one of the problems we have with user retaining is because of people not getting interaction more so than not getting votes. I've
Mhm.
talked to so many people tell me, yeah, I mean, if I get 25 cents, but I have 10 comments and people read what I said or watched my video, that's fine. But when I have a
Mhm.
video that has $1 and just one little reply from the Hive Buzz account, and that's it, I kind of feel bad.
yeah,
So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree. I think
absolutely.
we should enforce the curators to leave some comments. You know,
Yeah, and
as
maybe
an
this will
incentive.
also start some more engagement by others. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else for you this week?
Anything else? The curation. Well, we were testing some. We were discussing about the progressive web app, and I we I tested this to install it on my iPhone, but the safe zone was not. Uh, it was not respecting the safe zone of the screen. So that was fixed, right? But only on preview. I still need to reinstall it, the preview version of FreeSpeak to check if that's working on iPhone, because always iPhone has uh, different issues than Android. Yeah, that's something that we've seen. And what else?
That's why
Besides that,
Tip loves iPhone so much. Tip Funks is like such an Apple guy.
There are special tags just for iPhone. If you have a PVA, you have
mhm,
some kind of tags. Respect the safe zone, and this is not enough. There is one for iPhone. Respect the safe zone. Because they
yeah,
are so different than anybody else. So of course there's only
Yeah.
Android, but yeah,
mhm,
I have no idea. But yeah,
th-
it should be fixed. I don't have the
mhm.
way to test, but it should be fixed.
I
Hey
can test
Tibbs,
it while. Mhm.
when Hive turns around, you should buy an iPhone, dude.
Yeah, I should. Only for
But
this.
Only for this.
but because you're a developer, not
Yeah, yeah,
because
it's
you're
in
gonna
the
be an
shelf.
Apple guy.
I just use it then just to test
Yeah,
it, and to
I have a
compile also. It's the
yeah.
same
Well,
thing.
I have a my little brother has I mean it used to be mine, but we had a like recording studio for music, and I gave him a Mac Mini like 10 years ago, and he just upgraded it, and he told me the other day, hey, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah, not that I'm not going to switch to Mac, but for compiling you need it. That's like the other sad
Hmm.
thing about working with Apple stuff is like if I'm working on a native React app, right, and I'm compiling for Android and Apple, I can compile the for Android on Windows or Linux, but I cannot compile for Apple on Linux or Windows. I have to either use a platform like EAS. There's a few more, but like that's the one that I comes to mind. Or have a Mac, which is annoying. Like that's would be the
Uh,
only reason why I need to have a Mac so I can compile.
yeah.
Annoying,
Mhm.
but
It's working now. The safe zone on the top is now it's not working on
nice.
preview. I don't know if you
Ah,
can see.
cool. So you tested. Yeah,
The
nice.
only
And
thing
then the
that
button?
the
Ah.
bottom is still like this, but I
But
don't
it's
think
it's
it's
all
a
it's
big
a little
deal.
bit better than last time, right?
But their buttons
It's
are
a,
not usable. Like when you click,
Yeah,
when you
you
tap on them.
can. Yeah, the buttons are usable.
Oh,
Mhm,
maybe then it's not too bad because I mean it's just transparent behind it, but you don't really watch videos all the way on the bottom.
yeah, but
mhm,
also the button navbar should also disappear. Not in this build, but in my opinion. When you
mhm.
scroll, it should disappear. When you scroll to the bottom, it should be there and then disappear slowly. These kind of things. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
Uh, Another thing that we added is the breakdown of we discussed it, the breakdown of the curation, and I think that should be working now. Yeah,
this is
you can see.
w-
I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
it's in mirror,
yeah. Yeah. Who's that on the
but you can
video?
see
The guy
curators.
looks familiar.
No, it's correct. It was correct. It was
Uh-huh.
not mirrored because you were mirrored.
Okay. Okay. I see myself mirror. Mhm. And something that I will create an issue for that. Maybe I don't know if this is only on iPhone, but you can see this space here. This
No,
should
it's
Uh-huh.
not. It's
maybe
not only on iPhone. Yeah, I've
okay.
seen this. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it's a
And I think,
minor thing.
but yeah, we are starting to use GitHub issues more, and we are that way we
Yeah,
can keep track.
like exactly like I was telling you. There's a it comes a point. We're only four people, but still, like if I think if we keep up the space, we're gonna have a lot more people contribute. But so keeping the issues like that on GitHub is not only good for us so that we know where we are, but also so people don't open the same issue over and over and they can see, oh, it's already there, it's addressed. So
Yeah.
Maybe we can make a tutorial of showing people how to make it. Well, if they
great,
can, showing people
great
how
idea,
to add
great idea.
issues on GitHub, even if they are not developers, because it's it's not as difficult as making a hypos. It even uses Markdown, and you
But
can.
this is something that has been said so many times on different calls. In the Hive Hangouts and whatnot. Matt was also talking about it. Matt
Mhm,
Stalkers, in case that's not clear. That we one of the advantages we have when we build for Hive is that we have the community. So leveraging the community, making the community be your bug hunters, the issue reporters, making them be the ones to
mhm,
try out, beta software. It's a really big plus because if you develop a solo and you don't have a community, literally you don't have anybody to test your stuff. Not only, of
mhm,
course, it's slower, but also adoption is like 10 times slower because you have to call your friends, family. Hey, download this thing for what? Oh, let me just download it. Let me know what you think. Okay, for what? So we should be we should be leveraging the community as much as possible. And then
mhm,
obviously the point being is that submit an issue, make a post about it too, get an upvote. So you again
mhm.
incentives. Help them help. They help us. We help them.
That's how Utopian was working back in the day, right? Something similar. Like you made posts and people, they had a big delegation, and
Yeah.
you made some contributions to open source projects, and they gave you some votes.
Yeah, it's sad to know that that ended the way that it did, but I think
Mhm.
the idea was great. I think the idea was great. I don't know. Well, I don't want to get too negative and go down that route, but yeah.
Mm,
All right. Uh, do you want to go next, Tibbs, or do you want Queso
I
to go
think
first?
Queso can. Yeah.
Go for it, Queso. First of all,
Let me
welcome, brother.
tell
We missed you last week.
yeah, how you doing, guys?
What have you been up to?
Hello. Yeah. Uh, okay. I've been up. Recently, I've been working on the audio, but not really much. Recently, I've not been active. I talked to Eddie, so I've just been coming on and off. There is something right now that has have gotten my attention, which I just need to just sort out, right? So I can be back on start working. So recently, I worked on the audio. right? So the only thing remaining for the audio is just for me to change the feed, right? Change it to music, uh, music feed, change it to podcasts, right? And think more on that one. Then, because right now I'm just sorting based on trending, I'm sorting based on new, so just different kind of posts, right? Even both when audio snappy, just imagine an audio snappy, somebody comment, reply as a comment, is showing on the
Mhm.
audio system. So right now, I if I'm displaying the feed based on music, based on the category of music, and based on what do you call it, a podcast, and this other one, there's one other one, right? So we only get the actual audios displaying on the feed because
Mhm.
right now, even you try to vote, there's some audio you would think it's just a normal post, but it's not a normal post. They are just comments on the below the below a particular post. So all those things are rendering. So I'm trying to sort all those things out so we don't have that on our feed. And and secondly, the upload system, everything is fine. The last time we talked about, the farm link and a lot of that, right? So I've made it in a way that it's the upload system takes in the spam link, and if you're not putting a spam link, automatically we generate a spam link for you. So we send it with the upload with the payload we are sending to the endpoints to upload. So for the upload system, everything is done for that, and just the feed. I'll just change the API to get to display the music and podcast. Right. So
Uh,
I think that's all. Then I will be making a
so you're
push.
you're basically one cherry away from finishing the cake.
What is it?
You're one cherry away from finishing the cake, so you're almost done.
I'm, I'm done already. I
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
just saying that I'm done already.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. I also know that you submitted a RSS feed to Pancreas, so that's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
marked.
yeah. Yeah.
This is something that I have to admit, and I say this kind of in an embarrassing way. Don't really know exactly how Podpin works, so I don't get it 100% to be honest because I don't
Mhm.
understand podcasting. I don't understand. I should read up on it. So if somebody wants to tell me, but the way that I think it kind of works is that when you have a bot or a cron job or something of the sort that grabs a particular list of videos that somebody is doing and then
Mhm.
generates an XML file. An XML file is,
Mhm.
is a type of markup file.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like HTML, but a lot simpler, a lot more archaic, really, because HTML,
Mhm.
what I don't know, we're in version 5, and XML, I don't think it's. I mean, I was using XML in the 90s. Imagine that, and I think it's still the exact same thing. Uh, and then I guess the Podping grabs these XML files and then does custom JSONs on the Hive blockchain on a specific account that is connected to the thing.
Mhm.
And then I don't know how that feeds into podcast apps. I have no idea.
We
But
should have maybe a meeting with Brian of London, and he can
yeah, I would
maybe
love to
guide
understand
us.
how the
Mhm.
architecture, like how does it feed, for example,
Mhm.
Spotify? Does it feed to Spotify? Because I don't. Is that
I
how it
think
works?
it's for apps that use podcast 2.0, but something big, something that happened recently is that Apple Podcast is now going to accept HLS videos. So now three speak videos could be also in Apple podcast. So
You're
that's
kidding.
that's why, yeah, that's something recent. That's something a few weeks ago. Of course, I think they have been talking about that for several months or a couple of years maybe, but that's something recent that Apple Podcast is integrating because other platforms did it for HLS videos for videos in general, but now Apple is doing it. So that's why I think Brian of London was pushing that, and because we made the change from the front end, from the old front end to the new one, the RSS feed was on legacy. It was working on legacy.freespeak.tv
Hmm.
slash user XML or RSS. But and what you did, man, was just making a simple
Yeah, I
redirect.
Yeah, that's a simple solution because it's already working over there, and
Mhm.
I want to understand it more in depth. I mean, what Queso is did yesterday is basically the natural next step because we want to
Mhm.
eventually abandon everything from legacy,
Yeah.
and I want to delete that server mostly. Like I want to I want to grab that hard drive and almost pseudo pseudo the freaking root. No, I mean I don't. We can't obviously because there's stuff there
Mhm.
that it needs to be running. But it's a pretty decent server, so I think we could set up a hot node there. We could set up an encoder that is belongs to the infra.
Or
We could set up a few things that
yeah,
would.
yeah, but also that server has been running for some years now, so maybe we could, for the same price, we could get a better servers for the same price. I think.
That's true. Because
Mhm.
that is we don't. I mean, I say we. I'm going to say well, ThreeSpeak doesn't own that server. It's not a what's it called co-located colo server. It's
No,
something that we. Yeah.
it's a dedicated server, or I think it is a dedicated server, and but just for that price, we could get something better and optimize on the budget and the cost. But
Yeah.
we have to do it slowly, and we have to check
Yeah.
which things are running there, and we have an admin panel for that, so we can easily identify what's actually running there.
Yeah, the other day I found some pricing for VPS storage that blew my mind. I sent it to Eddie. It didn't have that much RAM, but it had pretty decent uh, storage itself,
Mhm.
and it had unlimited bandwidth. And I'm like, oh, that could be interesting for hot nodes. But I got
Mhm.
$11 a month or something. I'm like, I don't know. I want to test it
Okay.
if it's true.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
but yeah. Uh, so Kessel, I know that you've been out a little bit, but obviously, hopefully, everything that you've been, all the problems you've been dealing with, all the challenges, hopefully they're taken care of, and hopefully you're doing good, brother. I know that you were working on an initiative yourself, something for you. I hope that's doing well. We haven't talked. I hope that's doing well. But I'm glad to have you back. You didn't hear this because we said at the beginning of the call. Next 2 weeks, Tibbs is not going to be here. So it's going to be the three of us. So we're going to have to do a lot of talking.
That's easy for you, Mena.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but in
That's
a
not a
bad way.
challenge for you.
In a bad way. Awesome. All right. Well, Tibbs, you got the biggest report, I think. Go for it. What have you been doing this week?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
I lost track of everything, but yeah, Eddie already told about the beneficiary pop-up. That was some work. Then I added some quick links in the sidebar of the platform. So I just share my screen. That's the easiest thing.
Before you like,
Mhm.
can you please mute your mic, please? Yeah. Thank you. Thank
There
you,
you go.
brother. Uh-huh. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cool. So I basically only added these things. These things.
Okay.
Watch later, watch history, and all playlists. And I found a bug that if you have watch history, uh, he was displaying way more videos in the total as in in these two tabs here
Okay. Uh-huh.
because of the paging. I only got the first page and then split it up and never thought about it could be some more things in there. And then I also changed the structure, so we have tiles or cards and not a stupid table anymore. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Also,
Very
you
nice.
can filter here by date when you have watched it. Same goes for shorts. I use the shorts. That's not true.
But
I
that looks like a long video looking like a
Now
short,
it's
no?
loaded. Now it's loaded. Yeah, it was.
It was
I
loading the
have
others.
to. Yeah, I have to find out. But yeah, now we use here the shorts tab way, like in the profile, and you can see there are some thumbnail issues still. But I think that's way better. Same goes for other playlists, of course. So if you have a playlist in here, it's also showing now in this card style. You can still reorder. You click on reorder, then you can just move this up.
Nice.
Save changes. Then you need to again transact, and the changes then indexed in the background. Yeah. These things. Let me check quickly. Nice visual features. Yeah, that was basically everything what related to this part. Also, we have added the mobile nav, bottom nav bar. I don't know if this was already last week.
I
I didn't
think
check.
so. I think we did mention it last week.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. And now we have also in PBA mode. I can show here because I don't have a mobile emulator. We have now quick actions. So if you install the PVA app from 3Speak itself, then you can tap long on the 3Speak logo in your menu, and you have quick actions to open Discover, to open Shorts, and to upload something. Also, which is not working right now, I found a bug. Also, there is some share action. So on iPhone, you need to share, go in a video, and then you have share, and then you have this add list, basically, where you want to share. And there is 3Speak also in this list. But if you select it, it will open the app, but there's then a bug. So normally it should use this and put it in your upload, basically. Yeah. But
That's awesome. That's already working? You're kidding.
Like I said, there is a bug. So you select a video, you click on share, you have 3Speak, 3Speak is opening, and then it's in a endless loading state. At least for me, it was.
All right, I'm gonna test it out later because that's a badass. That's kind of how YouTube behaves. So like I record a video, I'm looking at it in the gallery, and I go like, okay, this is the one. Share. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If that's already working, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we could add, like, also on the video. I know that in the comments it's added, but the time frame or the timeline, or if you want to share a video, for example, at the 50-second mark or something, be able to share it in that part of the video.
Yeah, it could be that it is working. We are a bit restricted. I was amazed to see that we even have this share functionality with PWA apps. So it could be that it's working, but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
But these are only the nice to have things. But when you discovered this and you have used it once or twice, then you will never go the default mode again. You will just go in your gallery, share, upload. It's way easier. Yeah. But I have worked a lot because I promised some people that I will finish it on this year. A few weeks ago, I told you that I am postponing the DAO. So Mantequilla DAO, for example, because of the tokens. Then the token standards came of Magi. Then I wanted to implement those standards so you can host your own tokens. I think we have talked about this already.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
The general tokens. And now the crazy thing is, of course, the Magi NFTs. Same way, you have your collections. If you don't have any collection, obviously you don't have them here. And then you can deploy. And this is the same workflow, kind of. I won't do it now just because to save me some RC, and I have a lot of collections. But you just enter your collection name, so your NFT contract name, so to say. Click on deploy NFT contract. It's going through. And in the end, you have something like this. And what I have been working on, which was a lot of work, is to have a multi-level folder kind of thing. So what you are seeing now, in the beginning, it looked like this, and I think it's usable for people who are more more into tables, but I think it's just too confusing, and that's why I came out with this. On a collection, you can mint various things. You can mint single NFTs, mint batch NFTs, which is kind of you mint 10 different NFTs, not the same, different. And then there is mint series, because I tried to mint 1,000 NFTs, and in the end, it is just a Hive transaction, and I hit the maximum length of Hive transaction payload. So I came up with another idea how to improve this. I made a PR on the NFT contract. So this mint series is way shorter, and it's doing all the iteration in the backend. So it's so to say.
What is TBD, or it's like HBD?
TBD is HBD, yeah, in the testnet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
test. Yeah. Okay, test $$ or something like that.
Yeah, just some name TechCoder X came up with.
Wait, I have questions. I have questions. When you say that this is happening on the level 1, I'm a little confused, and maybe somebody that listens to this.
It is confusing because Magi is a layer 2 chain. It is connected to Hive via JSON, custom JSON, level 1, layer 1 transactions. So everything you do on Magi, you can do via Hive. That's why also the security is automatically enabled, because you need to sign your transactions with your active key, and only Eddie can sign stuff for his account. Yeah.
This is excellent. I didn't know.
Yeah, there are some things you can do only on Magi if you have connections to API nodes, obviously. But the basic concept is you transact to Hive. The nodes of Magi just scan Hive for a Hive custom transaction. And then if there is something VSC dot as ID, then it will just get this block information, execute contracts, execute transfers, whatever. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
We need to be aligned with the 500,000 character maximum. I don't know the exact number, but it was like 500,000.
Is that the block size or the character size?
It's the characters. Related? I got a error message that I hit the payload length restriction. 563K, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So it was generating a huge payload because this contract is aligned to the ERC 115050 standard. It's Ethereum NFT standard thing. And it is not taking in account that you could have some payload restrictions. So like I said,
how would you mitigate such a thing? Like I'm sorry, I just don't understand. How did you make a payload smaller?
Super simple. So I'll show you one. No, that's not the correct one. I think it's in here. Yeah. So if you can see this here now, they are all called Alicante -2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
In the mint batch mode, it will create a big payload where all these names are in. Alicante 2, Alicante 3, Alicante 4, whatever. And in the end, you have a list of 100,000 NFTs because you entered 100,000. The other method is, I think I used this one. They are also called 1, 2, 3, but you only have the transaction payload is create something that is called endless flame hash thing. Start in number 1, iterate to number, I think 10. And have a suffix, for example, also. And then these also have some other information, like if they are soul bound, so they are only transferable once, who was the minter and all that stuff. But in the end, you have only one line, and the contract is iterating based on your inputs. I can show you the actual transaction. Yeah, Milo is spamming the network. Here could be, yeah, mint serious. This has been serious, and mint batch there. Yeah, that broke, I think. So this is the payload for a simple mint serious thing. That's the first mint, or the first NFT is a template NFT because we set the properties there, and all the other following are another operation, and this is the payload. So it's just saying mint this to this account with this prefix, start from 2, count 999. These are just mandatory values, and you have a properties template, and that way the contract will know, okay, I don't have to store the properties extra on the chain, because this costs the most, storing values on chain. So we only have one property. Of course, ticket VIP is very short, but in normal circumstances, you have like a hammer, and the hammer has a color, has a power, has a weight, has the amount in your backpack, and all that stuff. It's all stored in properties. And these 20,000 hammers you mint at the start of your game, they all have the same properties. Only if someone is using one of these hammers, the HP is getting lower for this hammer, for example. Only from this moment on, they will have custom properties. So this is the concept behind those template NFTs. And this is the
It's almost
payload.
like you're applying a programming principle, the DRY programming principle, right? To this, it's almost like it because you create it. You basically create you declare the one item once, and then create instances of that one item. That's how I'm kind of putting it
Kind
in
of,
my
yeah.
head.
Kind
Yeah.
of, but only until they get their own properties. Because you can set properties on Hammer 99. Eddie used it in his game, and because he used it once, there will be a transaction called set properties for Hammer 99, which will send power or HP 99 or HP 75 because he used it twice.
So maybe it could either, for example, have like durability, so the more it used, it goes lower, and the HP of the item goes lower, or maybe it can gain experience points the more it is used, right?
Absolutely, yeah. But in the beginning, everything is same. Only if it is used, you have durability reduced and XP.
Yeah, I have to say that in my myopic understanding on NFTs, because I will admit that I didn't get the NFT craze. I still don't. Uh, I always understood though the usage in video games, because that makes sense to me. Like if you have an economy inside a video game that is based with, let's say that you have a market, like very much like World of Warcraft. I used to play that when I was younger. There was a market. You could actually sell stuff, buy stuff, and all this stuff. So if that existed in a game, you're developing a game and you want to have an economy and inside the game, then NFTs makes all the sense of the world, because that way you have there's no ability to cheat. Like it is what it is. Nobody can go in there. There's no exploit. It makes sense, and not a centralized entity or a company can be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and mint more of these like armors because they're selling really good, and then sell them in the market. So it makes sense. In video games, they always made sense. Is that kind of like your motivation? Are you a gamer, by the way, Tibbs? I never asked you.
I played World of Warcraft too, and
Oh,
but
yeah.
the only game I'm playing these days is Cyberpunk. That's the only one in my lunch break when I'm here working. But I don't play any other games.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so good. I can just play 3,000 hours and I won't be bored. It's so good.
I don't even know what that is, and maybe that's a good thing, because I
It's a really
have
good,
a
really
problem
good
with
game.
them.
Yeah.
It's from the same creators of the Witcher games.
Yeah, and it's based on Dungeons and Dragons universe in the cyber.
Man, I'm gonna
future.
nerd out with that, so maybe I shouldn't touch it.
Yeah. But I agree. For games, it's super cool. But also, you remember probably HiveBuzz and HiveBuzz badges.
Yeah.
These
Oh,
are
I used to work
also
there.
NFTs. So these are soulbound NFTs. I am not able to send you my my badge of HiveFest 7.
Yeah.
These are soulbound. So it's the same like this ticket here, ticket VIP. When I make an event and I say they are soulbound, you cannot sell them on the market, then they will have soulbound true. This is an extension to the normal standard. Same goes for these template properties, also only extension. I just got inspired by other Ethereum standards. So this is a collection of many Ethereum standards, so to say. Yeah, but it's working fine. I only want to improve some things here and there, and then it's ready to get released. Because those token standards live and nobody's using them right now. I know that the one guy from Rising Star Game, he's looking into the token, but I think it's super cool, and I want to have a UI. Of course, an NFT marketplace would have a totally different website. So this is very techy and very Tipfox style. Of course, NFT marketplaces look a lot different. But I just want to show how to mint, how you can use it, and that you can use it. And feel free to use my one. So every time you deploy a collection, it costs 10 HBD. So you can have multiple collections, like your game is in one collection, your artwork is one collection, your audio, 3-speak audios are one collection, maybe if you want to sell them. These kind of things. So you can do a lot with NFTs, and also
I have a question for you,
restriction.
Dibs.
Mhm.
There's a user on Hive, a very talented user. Her name is Raven Music.
Mhm.
And I think she's a drummer mainly, but she does like this electronic music.
Producing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. Sometimes I actually play it because it's cool for like working, and you'll be playing in the background. And she told me a while ago that she was using Wax because in Wax she had the ability to release songs as collectibles and as stems. So if I can explain it like this, it was like you would have a new song that she released comprised of 4 different NFTs, right? And then one NFT would be, let's say, the drums and the bass, and the other NFT would be a guitar. The other NFT would be the voice, and the other NFT would be like some, I don't know, let's say some horns or whatever. And in order for you to get the whole song, you had to get all 4 NFTs and then mint an NFT from those 4, and then you get the full song. But if you can listen to each one individually, and then of course when you mint them, they get destroyed. They fuse into one. I thought that was so cool because you gamify the release, I guess, of new music. Do you think something like that could be implemented with what you're doing?
Absolutely. This is the standard, so to say. You use the standard for your NFTs, and this kind of logic is a custom contract. So the custom contract is checking if you have all NFTs. If you have them, you are allowed to mint the other NFT, and the minting actually is happening in this collection. So it's a little bit confusing, but that's how the system is set up and is meant to be used. To have different contracts all work together. This one is your storage, so to say. The other one is the music minting contract, and then you have, of course, also a market. That's not something that is have done yet, but it will be needed. Absolutely, of course. But also you will have the need for liquidity pools for tokens. So DIY2 is worth 2 times more than DIY, all that cool stuff. So it's pretty complex to make a market. But also staking, for example, staking contract is also something that is neat to do. because you only can send tokens, you can burn tokens, and you can approve a market, but you cannot stake them. And what should happen when you stake them? On Hive Engine, you have specific rules, and Magi is so flexible that you can define the rules. You can create a contract that is connected to your token, and if people stake their tokens, they will earn, for example, free upload minutes on 3Speak, or I don't know, kind of a Hive you want to send them on a monthly basis, whatever you want to define. So this is something, there needs to be a standard, of course, but I think that every token holder will develop their own ideas how to.
Their own uses.
Yeah,
I don't hate that. I think it's pretty cool, the idea of tying a token to utility on 3Speak. On that front, I do have something to share that is like the foundation of the transition that I think we should do.
But so these are the ideas, and also Magi NFT. We will have a Mantequilla NFT collection where we have the NFTs for the DAO in. So everyone who owns the NFT, whatever, they are allowed to vote in our DAO. And then we could also have other NFTs for Mantequilla. People who donate to us have a specific NFT, which has a specific utility in the end. Yeah.
I love it. This is awesome stuff. And you're doing everything on the testnet right now. Is there a reason why you haven't put this on the chain, like, or for people to go and make their tokens yet, or just kind of?
It costs money. Of course, I want to test it on the prod before I actually really release it. People can right now take the contract from GitHub, deploy the contract themselves via CLI. But this is actually something people will use, and I want to make sure nothing is happening in between. So every contract costs 10 HBT, and I don't have so much HBT on LiveNet.
Yeah. Somebody asked me why would people, and well, not me particularly, it was a conversation. Sometimes I lurk. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I lurk. So they were saying, oh, but it's just too expensive. Nobody's going to use Magi because, you have to spend so much or have so much to be able to do it. And I think, and this is so that if somebody's listening to this, they kind of understand why it is impossible to do these things for quote unquote free. There's a way that you can do free accounts free transactions on Hive, but they are and they're not really free. They're more like limited. But the way that it happens and why it can happen on Hive is because we determine, for better or for worse, that by controlling the amount of transactions a brand new account can do with resource credits, then we would control spam. We wouldn't have bad actors coming in here being crazy and
Same on Magi.
It's exact same thing. There's going to be a cost discovery. I don't know what the end is going to look like.
It doesn't cost you anything to transact. It costs you to deploy, because that is definitely dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the deployment,
absolutely free.
The cost of deployment could be 10 HBD now, but it could be in the future. It could be more, or it could be less. It really,
of course,
it depends on
different to decide. Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be a cost discovery. What I'm saying, like in how much does it cost today to deploy a contract on Ethereum? I don't even want to.
I don't know.
Insane,
probably
right?
A lot. Yeah, probably a lot. But these costs do not go into financing the network. So it's just to avoid spam. It's not something we need to have, because contracts are so expensive. What we need to have is the RC that is used is generated by liquid HBD. This is important. I have not the big insights why this is what finances the system, but this is what finances the system, so to say.
What happens to the HBD when you deploy it? It
Nothing.
gets burned?
Uh, no, it's
The,
send it to the VSC network account.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But to use any of these things I am deploying here, you don't have to pay anything. You only have to hold some HBDs, so your RC is refilling. You don't
Mhm.
have to have 500 something HBD. So for gaming, for example, you only need to have like 5 HBD. If you're a really intensive tic-tac-toe player, it's super cheap, basically. If
Mhm.
the contracts are designed to be cheap, it is cheap. Obviously, NFTs are not that cheap because NFTs hold properties behind them, way more properties than just a binary true false thing, bitmaps, so to say. So that's the reason why it's important, or it's expensive, kind of. I have no real numbers, but I think it was one NFT equals 1.7 RC. So if you have a Hive account, you can mint 3 to 4 NFTs if you have the collection first. It's
Okay.
not that expensive. But compared to other NFT things, I think it could be way cheaper or way more expensive. Depends. I have no idea.
There's gonna be a
Ethereum is
yeah. There's gonna be
definitely
a
way more
discovery.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, people forget, right now because we have very little users on Hive, uh, as compared to the hype. When we had I don't know if you guys remember. Well, there was a time where back in legacy chain days where we had so many users that if you didn't have at least 100 tokens staked up, you couldn't even make a comment. You guys remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Or we
Yeah.
had this hard fork. We had this weird hard fork where nobody was able to post anymore for a pretty short time, but this is like 4 or 5 years ago. There
Yeah.
was some kind of RC bug.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
the
there's
same.
a it's the same. There's going to be a discovery of cost, and the more adoption this takes, the more expensive it might get. And those who get in at the beginning might end up being the next whales. Who knows? Because they were able
Yeah.
to come up with their complex systems when it was still kind of cheap to transact. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I think it's
Yeah.
really freaking cool. I hope we can bring games. One of course, I games to Hive. But one of the things that has me really bullish about this whole thing is that I see more and more people, getting brave enough to play with AI and start to build on top of Hive, and it's very likely that a year from now, everything is going to be, Hiveified. We're going to see a clone of whatever is out there. It's going to be
Could
one.
be.
You
Yeah,
know,
could be. Yeah.
I want to do a shout out to Beggars lately because he's been, I don't know what the dude has been consuming, but he's like pumping out new apps every single day. He's he right now he's launching his own wallet.
Mm.
Yeah,
Who was it? Beggars?
yeah, Beggars. He's
Beggars.
launching his own wallet.
Ah.
My wife is informing me that one of our doggies got really nasty, and we're gonna have to give him a bath here in a minute. But
Oh. Yeah.
uh, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share some of my stuff before. I don't know how long we have already. I think we have more than an hour.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll share some of my stuff before we call it done.
Yes.
This week has been so I learned some really important things about Beehive. I don't know if you guys can see my wig. It's a great wig. Here I go.
No, I
Uh,
can't. The
yeah,
natural hair.
yeah, man. Uh, and and so I had to make some adjustments, and there's been some upgrades that I've done to Snappy. Uh, Fun fact: if you have apps on Hive, if you have apps on Hive that work with React Native, you should know that using polyfills for dHive for an RPC node management is not good enough. What ends up happening is, and we learned this because we had the main or the biggest RPC node on Hive, which is the one that managed for block trades, was down, and because it was down, Snappy stopped working. A lot of stuff stopped working, and so the idea of the dHive library is supposed to handle for you and it does if you're building on web, is that if one of the nodes is down, automatically it'll switch to another one if you have an array of different nodes. It does not work on React Native. You have to do this manually. I learned this the hard way because my wife tells me, "Hey, no, but Snappy's not connecting." And I go, "What? What?" Sure enough, so for that day that the RPC node was down, Snappy wasn't working. So now, an update that had to happen on Snappy is that now it handles it. Um, I guess manually. I don't know how would you say. Timeouts and does the thing and had to do a lot of restructuring. Hey guys, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits. But of course, it's gonna be on the report because we have a situation brewing. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I think that's gonna be it for this hangout. I'll send you the document of everything that I did, Eddie. And
Okay.
then all right. Bye guys.
Right.
Sorry.
Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.